One of the great things about crochet is it's calm and relaxing, and especially for those of us that have a tendency to do everything at a million miles an hour, having a hobby that slows you down and chills you out is a really good thing, right? But then sometimes you need to crochet fast. You might need to crochet fast because you've got an upcoming birthday, or you somehow missed that it's Christmas soon. And you might need to crochet fast because you're just losing tolerance with the slow and steady pace of some things. What I'm just going to quickly share with you today is which of the patterns that you'll find on my website and on this YouTube channel that you will be able to get done in less than about 3 hours. Now, we're making the assumption with this list that you are not brand new to crochet, because that takes a little time, right? Even if you get off to a flying start, you're probably not going to leap straight into a project to begin with. You're going to make a little sample, try a few things here and there. So at least vaguely competent crocheters, this one's for you, and it's going to be my patterns that you can do really fast, and they're all free. So I'm going to talk to you about flowers first. And that is because I've been making a lot of flowers recently, and because the most recent one I've been making kind of inspired this thought. So I'm making sunflowers for my friend's birthday. I've done these two, and I'm going to do them as a trio and put a ribbon around them or make a crochet ribbon, right? And I love making flowers, and normally they're fairly fast, but the way that I decided to design these was with a multitude of petals, and it's turned out to be a little bit time consuming, and I'm feeling a little bit under the pressure. So instead of just finishing the sunflowers, I thought instead I'd stop crocheting sunflowers and start talking to you about how I've got time pressure from crocheting flowers. So without further ado, let's look at the first one that you can put together super fast. I'd say maybe a couple of hours for one of these, probably even less, and it's tulips. I'm so happy with how this tulip one came together because of how it's basically petals, 4 petals worked from magic circles and elongated slightly, sewn together, and a chain with single crochets for the stem wrapped around a pipe cleaner, and then you've got your little leaf, and I think that's sort of a composite of a chain and then single, half double and double crochets alternating to give that look. And whilst that may have sounded like quite a mouthful, these are dead quick to knock together as long as you have green yarn for the stem and any kind of lovely brightly coloured yarn for the petals. Boom, done really fast. Quick project number one. My next one's flowers too, and it's these daffodils. They will take you slightly longer than the tulips, and that's because they're slightly finer work. They've got numerically more petals, and now the petals are perhaps a more straightforward design. However, that doesn't mean that it's quicker than just working in a spiral in a round like you are for the tulips. But still, to put 1 or 2 of these together within 3 hours for someone competent at crocheting should be no problem at all. Now, if your thing is a Mee Roomi, that seems like it would be a really long thing to put together, but actually there are some designs that are a lot quicker to work up than others. I've got a couple of them here. Now, the thing that's a little bit fiddly and slightly more time consuming about Mr. Seahorse is the surface crocheted around his coronets, but don't worry, you don't need to add that if you don't want to. Cute kid's toy and pretty straightforward to make as well, and fast, which is what we're going for. Then we've got this little guinea pig. Again, lovely and quick to make. You can even make it faster by avoiding the colour changes on the feet, and you'll put that together in just a few hours, especially if you're a confident crocheter. I've also got some more crochet toys on the website that are quicker to put together, that are older patterns, so I don't have examples of the toys anymore, and one of them is the Crochet Pig, and he is super fast. He's quite small. He was about that big. I do still have one. It's in my daughter's drawer somewhere, and there is no way I'm diving through all of those. It would probably take me a couple of hours to find him, and then he'd be flat. But Crochet Pig is another really good one. And then there's a more recent one, but I still don't have it because I made it as a gift for my future sister-in-law. Love her. And that's a seal. It looks great in terms of colour because I used a variegated yarn, but it requires no colour change. So that sort of shading and flecking to the yarn gives the colour all the additional padding that it needs in order to look textured without you having to do any extra time consuming work. And then we've got household stuff. So a while ago I used macrame cord to have a go with it, and I made some plant pot holders. I put one together and it took, I mean, at most an hour. It was dead quick to work up. Macrame cord is quite stiff, so you'll need to have a strong hand and a tough hook, but it still works up pretty quickly. And you can of course make these out of cotton yarn if you prefer, and that's a little bit easier to manipulate. And then we've got things that are essentially baskety, and one of those is baskets. Do you know, I made these about a decade ago. I still really love them. Baskets this size are really good for storing little things. They make cute little gifts, and again they come together really nice and quickly. Within a few hours max, you've got something that looks adorable and literally categorically lasts a decade. Can't really go wrong, can you? And then another example, these are stacking ones, by the way. I used to have the pattern on the website. I took it down for some reason. I'll look into that. But the methodology is basically the same. This is not a basket. This is my pen holder. I have decanted the pens just to show it to you. This I think was made with some yarn that I had left over from another project. You can see a patch of different yarn on the bottom there, and it works up super quickly, and it really does hold the, I mean, from the feel of it, I think I probably used acrylic yarn even, and it holds perfectly well. A bunch of pens or crochet hooks, which is more commonly what I'll use it for, and yeah, super quick to put together. I'll link down below, by the way, to all of these patterns that are on the Lucy Kate Crochet website. There's also a whole big pattern page where you can browse through everything at your leisure, and they're free. Everything on the website is and always will be free for you. And finally, because we're aiming to power through in a speedy fashion, there is, of course, embellishments and little crocheted pieces, and flowers are great for this, just random shaped flowers. The same goes for tiny little hearts. They make really cute sort of accessory items, embellishments, ways of making other projects look more glorious, and they come together really nicely. You can also, if you are wanting something that is a discrete period of time but you don't have a time limit, make granny squares. I genuinely, heartfeltedly recommend just crocheting a bunch of granny squares, even if you don't know what they're going to end up as. Making a granny square, and you can decide how big this is going to go. You know, you can have blanket sized or little square sized, and you can make amazing things from them, and you can make them one an evening if you just want to keep crocheting but you don't want to dedicate too much time to it. Granny squares can be used from everything from blankets to producing covers for soft furnishings or accessories like scarves. You can even put them together to make little fingerless gloves. They're absolutely brilliant. Hand warmers and leg warmers are another great, relatively fast, possibly not as fast as the other things on this list, but you know, you can work them up in an evening, or at least have one warm hand the next day, and they're really, really rewarding to make as well. Anything that you can wear and slowly show off is always good fun, isn't it? Well, I hope that was helpful and interesting for you. Let me know what you think in the comments below. What's your favourite thing to make if you're in a hurry for those last minute things, or just if you want a quick project to knock off at the end of the day for a few hours? Let me know. I love reading your kind comments. Let's have a chat below, and I'll see you again soon. Happy crocheting.